Okay, so bear with me. I bought this snowblower about 4 or 5 years ago. I did use it about 30 times, and I have just this entrance here. It's a little bit in a slope, so that's the whole area. I did use it a few times a year, maybe 5, 6 times. Let me just share with you the problems I had with it. It's an Arians model, and it was bought new. Because perhaps you don't know, you are going to need maintenance on this, and maintenance on this, there's two options. Either you have your wrenches and try to lift it and work underneath it, you have a little bit of skills. Either you need to put it on the truck bed and bring it in for service, and again, it's going to happen perhaps in the first years of ownership, maybe 2, 3, 5, 6 years old. So you really want to know about it before purchasing something like this. The problem I had with this, the first problem is actually is a simpler, easier one to fix, and many people had it. I think everybody has this problem with OHV engines, and check my channel to see how I fixed this. Is the engine will not start after the summer storage, but check my channel how to fix it. The just very fast thing, the very first thing you want to try is to crank it at the same time as crank it. You prime it at the same time as cranking it. So that's a very quick thing to do. You also can drain the gasoline, but check my channel. That's not the reason I'm doing this video. What happened is I was using it this winter, and I noticed all the fast forward speeds are working properly, and then I noticed the backward speed, the slow one didn't work at all. The fast one was moving a little bit, very slow, but the slow one was not working at all. I could depress this thing, didn't move at all. And you may want to, first off, you may want to remember that you need to adjust this thing here, the cable. I will talk about it in a moment, but I want to show you why it wasn't moving. So I did lift it. You notice how I put it on the jack stands. If you do so, make sure you have very little fuel in the gas tank so you don't overflow it and spill on floor. Now let me just show you. This is the belly of it, the cover belly. I'm working with the flashlight, and all this grit here is wear from the friction disc. So all these snow blowers, no matter the brand, what was made in the last maybe 5-10 years, they have a different design than the older ones, and it's that design that will actually require maintenance very soon after you purchase it. So all this is wear. That's because if you look underneath and just check it out how it works. So you have this friction disc, and you notice how thin it is. It has like a friction material to it. It's like very thin rubber. When I bought it, I did remove everything and I did lubricate everything, and I recommend you lubricate this hex shaft on both sides. Actually, I will put in the comment section the instruction to lubricate all the parts from Arians. So check the comment section for that link PDF. And when I opened it, it was new, and this rubber here was about this thick, at least half an inch thick, and look how thin it is now. It's basically is just like 1 millimeter thin. It's going to wear very soon and it's going to lose complete traction. And why it's still working in forward motion is because this disc actually it's switching. You have this big plate which is rotating from the motor, from the engine, and when you pull that, you engage it there. Basically, you are just engaging this plate against the disc. The disc is rotating, and it's wearing the rubber here. And I believe I went reading on the forums, and someone he was looking like he really knew these machines. He said the rubber on these friction discs on the later models, all models on the market which have been made in the past maybe 10 years or so, this rubber wears very fast, and that's a problem, because you notice if you are not skilled with mechanics, you cannot do this at home. You really need to bring it in for repair, and you need to put it on the bed truck. You need to find a bed truck and spend money. The disc itself, it's about $30 from Ariens, but there's also two belts here. This one, the drive belt, you don't see it very well, and there is a second belt here. So basically you may want to replace the belts at the same time as you replace the disc, because you are already removing all the parts. So this disc wore very fast on me, very fast. I'm really surprised. And why is it working only fast forward? Because the disc actually, you notice this, the metal plate here is rotating one way only, but you can transfer the disc from the right side of the plate to the left side of the plate, and that switches the rotation of the disc. That's how you switch it forward and backwards. I think forward on the right side and backwards on the left side, and it's the backwards that went the first, didn't have any more traction on it, and started basically to slip. And yeah, that's the beginning of it. And a few things, it's really annoying that you cannot check how much wear you have on this thing. So it may happen to you in the middle of the storm, you may lose traction, but be careful. If you lose traction backwards, that's the first thing, you are really close to complete wear on this guy. It may still work forwards for a while, but you know you have to replace it, and there is no way to look from the side. So that's why I'm doing this video. I'm not showing how to replace that disc. There are other videos. You need to remove the wells, and by the way, try to grease. When you remove the well, try to grease the shaft, because the wells get stuck on the shaft and it's really difficult to remove the next time. And also you need to be sure, check every season to adjust this cable. This is the left one, this is the one that's engaging the drive. You have this like it's a washer here, and normally you need to use two pliers, one to keep the top one from rotating, the other one to break this one loose, and you need to undo it a little bit. And if it's loose like this, you need to screw this one down. Usually we'll keep with the other hand the bottom one, but I cannot do it. And you really need to make sure that this metal tab is touching the left side. So just put down the flashlight. Basically you don't want to have loose, but at the same time you want it to touch here when you don't touch the handle. So the way is just to try to tighten it, and then just pull a little bit on it and hear if it's making a noise. So right now it's not making noise. Let me just release it a little bit. Perhaps it's too tight. And now you can hear that noise. So you really need to want to have that metal tab touching here, and this thing not being loose, and then just tighten the two against each other with two pliers, and you should be good to go. This is a normal adjustment. You need to check this because this compensates for the wear on that disc. And the person who appeared to be really knowledgeable on this machine said those discs actually are a very light duty design. You see, I have to clean my drive a little bit, and that puts too much stress or whatever wear on the disc that may cause the disc to wear very shortly. And these machines are not meant to crimp, and also not meant to really dig into very compacted snow, force onto with the machine on the snow. That will cause the disc to wear very quickly. But even so, even if you have just to blow light snow or something on very horizontal areas, even then that disc will wear pretty fast. I did check to Ariens. The disc is about 30-40 bucks. The two belts another 20 bucks each, perhaps 100 bucks all the parts, but I'm not sure how much it's going to cost to get it serviced by a specialist. Perhaps I would say perhaps at least 200 bucks to remove everything and put it back in place. So that's why you want to know before ordering or purchasing a snowblower. You really want to know that you will have to spend a few money within, could be, again, I've seen people on forums saying the disc wore on them in 2-3 years. Maybe others is going to last more, but really be prepared with this, because either you service it yourself, either you bring it to service. Thanks for watching.